Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan back with another mix trick for you. Today we're going to be focused on when a rapper sends you a 2-track beat, or when you're in the studio with a rapper that has a 2-track beat, no separation with the bass, the snare, the kick drum, the keyboards, or anything else that they have, and you're thinking about mixing it, and you're like, well, where do I go from here? I have your beat, and then I have a vocal. How do I enhance it? So this is very common of rappers. For whatever reason, they'd like to not bring in the exported tracks. They just like to bring in the beat, and sometimes it's MP3 quality, sometimes it's wave. You never know what you're going to get. But nevertheless, this applies to any kind of format that you might get. And yeah, I think it can just help your song overall. So anyway, if you take a look at what I have here, I have a really basic outline of a song. I have the beat, and then I have a vocal, and then I have a dub, or what some rappers call ad-libs, or overdubs. And that's it. Instead of 20, 30 tracks, this is all I have to work with. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a look at the beat, and I'm just going to, well, I'll take a look at the beat and the vocal together, and I'll see what we got going on. I already added some processing to the vocal, but that's not what we're focused on here. We're focused on making this beat bigger, making it a little more spatial, a little more polished. So let's take a listen.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight, hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil Sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog. Preposterous.
Alright, very cool beat. Vocal effect, I'm not sure if it's too much right now. Most rappers like it dry, so we'll decide on that later. But anyhow, let's go to the beat. The first thing I like to do in this scenario is I like to observe if there's already some stereo image happening. There's some snare that's panned, there's some other things that are panned left and right, so that's good. I'm going to enhance that now. I'm going to try to make it a little more bigger, and I'm not going to do anything outrageous. But what I like to do first is I like to go to the insert, and I like to go to my waves, and I like to throw a center, wave center plugin right on that. What does center do? Center lets you pick and choose what frequencies you want to go to the middle of your stereo field and what frequencies you want to go to the outer edges. So traditionally, you would want your lower end to go right in the center, like your bass guitars or your bass drums. So I'm going to dial my low end down right about there toward my center, and it's going to take away from the sides. And then I'm going to do the exact opposite with my high end. I'm going to put my high end on the outside. These are my hi-hats, my snare drums, my air, things like that. And then my punch, well, you don't want punch necessarily on the outside. You want it to hit you right in the chest, right? So I'm going to put it right in the center, more or less. And we might be clipping on this output bus, so we'll see. We might have to adjust my master volume here. But what I want to do now is I want to take down my center channel in volume just a little bit, and I want to boost my sides. So I'm boosting everything that's on the outside, creating a wider image, and I'm dropping down everything in the middle. This is also going to let my vocal shine through, because my vocal is not part of this beat track. So my vocal is going to sit right on top with this a little bit lower and the sides a little bit higher. Let's see what that did.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight, hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil Sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and
All right, I really like what that center did. Let's just listen, and I'm going to bypass the plugin from time to time, and we'll see what it did. It's going to be very subtle. So if you're listening on maybe some laptop speakers or something, you might not hear it. You might want to listen on some studio monitors. All right, let's do it. I'm going to start with center enabled, and then I'll disengage it from time to time and engage it.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog. Preposterous.
Yeah, I really like what it did to the guitars there. It just kind of made them a little more ambient, spaced them out a little more, made it sound a little more natural, to me anyway. All right, so now let's stop focusing on the beat strip, and let's go all the way over to our output bus. Now, our output bus is what's in this type of situation where we just have a beat and vocals, where we can really add some excitement to the track. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to add a little EQ to polish it up. And my favorite EQ to do this is the Universal / Dangerous Music Bax EQ. The Bax EQ, modeled after the Dangerous Music hardware by UAD, is awesome. What this does basically is it lets you separate, if you want, when it's in stereo mode like this, your middle and your sides, just like center, so you can pull out certain frequencies and you can add certain frequencies. It has a cut and it has a shelf for your low end and your high end. Very easy to use. It's kind of like your home appliance, home stereo EQ. I'm just going to go to a factory setting of mine that's one of my favorites, which is called Just the Right Loudness. And you can see that it's cutting all my low end and it's shelving at 116. I got a tiny bit of boost on that, and then I have a tiny bit of boost on my 2.5K, and I'm cutting all 70 hertz or above. My output here, my mid and my side, are going to be flat. I'm not going to even touch that right now. All right, let's listen and see what the Dangerous Bax EQ did, and we'll bypass from time to time just like we did.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog. Preposterous.
Yeah, so once again, just open some things up, cut out any unnecessary rumble that I had down low, let the vocals sit a little better on top of the mix, and made my drums hit a little harder, gave it a little more space. The second thing that I like to do in this situation is I like to throw on a tape saturation plugin. So one of my favorites is the Ampex ATR 102 from Universal Audio, and I really love the preset, or like starting at the preset of the MixRD Type 250 15 IPS. This is it tends to glue everything together. Sometimes you lose a little bit of the low end that you want, and it tends to be a little brash. So sometimes if you just open up this, if you open up the settings, you can dial down the high end using this and using this, almost creating an EQ right there. It is creating an EQ right there. And sometimes I find success going from 1-inch tape to half-inch tape, just depending on the song. Sometimes it adds a little too much top end when I go to half-inch. So let's try it right at 1 inch with that preset, and I want you to listen. I'll bypass from time to time, but I really want you to listen how it glues everything together. Makes everything sound just perfect.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight, hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You'll need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog, preposterous.
Okay, so if there's anything I think that made the biggest difference so far in this mix, it's probably the Ampex ATR 102. Guys like Ryan West use them, who he's done Eminem, Slaughterhouse, all those guys. So, really awesome tool. The final thing that I usually do on any mix is I add a limiter just to boost some levels. Now this all depends on if there's going to be a mastering engineer or not, but if it's just for us to enjoy and we don't have to worry about a mastering guy, I usually add just a simple waves, L1, and the Ultra Maximizer. I usually drop this down to about 2. That's going to boost my volume a little. It's going to attenuate a little bit, and I'll drop my out ceiling down to about -1.
Even my own mother says I am a low.
Let's listen to what that does.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight, hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You'll need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog, preposterous.
I think that would be very satisfactory to a client. Let's listen now to what we did, where we started from, how about, and then what we did to it. So we'll turn off everything, all the processing that we just did. We'll turn off the beat center, and we'll turn off everything on the master output, and let's listen, and then I'll turn everything on slowly, and we'll take another listen with processing.
Even my own mother says I am a low life, chasing around my old wife with a cold knife. Heavyweight, hitting harder than a steel rod. On second thought, I'm hitting harder than Basil sod. I'll give you all a lesson in obnoxiousness. Smash you in the throat with this mic and crush your esophagus. You'll need some lozenges. I'm the apocalypse. You defeated me and my team, dog, preposterous.
Alright, so you can hear an obvious difference. The only thing that I might be concerned about is that Ampex tape's taken away from that low end, but that's something that can easily be tweaked. I don't want to, it's hip hop, so I don't want to lose that low end, but at the same time, you know, I mean, if I'm creating what is to be a radio friendly track, I don't want it muddy. So that's something that maybe we could take a look at more. But yeah, I hope that these techniques help you enhance that 2-track beat when that rapper comes to you and he says, hey, this is all I got, and you have to make it work. Alright guys, until next time, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and if you want 10% off of any Waves plugins, make sure to use my coupon code that's right below. Thanks again.